I'll be completely honest and reasoning why this project or IP completely fell in modern times. It's actually more kind of complicated than actually is people don't like Johnny Test or you hate it or you love it sort of situation. No, it actually is more kind of deeper in that. It's more complicated, I'm trying to say. It's a fact I feel Warner Brains, who technically kind of own the rights because the right holder of Johnny Test is sort of all over the place. Some companies own some part of it, like Warner Brothers own the title, Warner Brains owns the sort of part, and etc. It continues on. It's just a mess. But the reason why Johnny Test sort of failed is because sort of misunderstanding what Johnny makes Johnny work. And on top of all this, the timing, the writing, and understanding the popularity to push or elevate Johnny as an IP and the same level as Scooby Doo. Because he did not notice, the last couple of years, well, brain, they're making a lot of power moves to make Johnny a thing again. Not just a thing, make it iconic as Scooby Doo. Something you always come back. Something it becomes pop culture. And those are the moves that attempted to bring Johnny back after they announced three Pacific projects to make it a thing. But this is the issue. They never really grasped what was Johnny actually working. What was the reasons? And I feel that's sort of kind of surprising. Nobody really asked that question, even that there are tons of videos that why Johnny fail or the hatred of Johnny, why do I like Johnny. It has a lot of videos on it. That fact is sort of dying down. I actually believe this video will not be that popular because the hatred or interest of Johnny Test is sort of died nowadays. But I'm doing this because of my own curiosity and more my own sensation. If I look up something, my mind sort of breaks it down so many different ways that I need to take it out. So this is my method to basically regurgitate everything I thought about. But besides that, before I break it down, my name is Rachel. I like to talk about animation, not just animation, to reviews, first impressions, cartoon theories, and sometimes, if I have some spare time, cartoon breaking news. Of course, you'll like how it's going. You'll like to help my channel, put like, comment, and subscribe. That's the only thing you need to do. If not, that's cool. If you do, thank you. Because of you, I am getting close to my main goal of 2,000 subscribers. And yes, I am getting close every single day because of people like you. People who like, comment, and share. Thank you. I'm completely grateful for your help, not words. But all of that, let's start with the video of why Wild Brain sort of misunderstood Johnny and the failure of Johnny Test itself. Now, let's get started off this video. FYI, I am a little sick, so you can hear my voice kind of cracking or changing. I apologize, but it's nothing really that heavy or anything. I can still do this video. I'm thinking fine or anything. But besides that, what is one of the biggest sort of mishandlings of Johnny Test? And I think it's sort of the misunderstanding of Johnny. Because the very beginning, the first one of Johnny, you could tell they really didn't have much deepness or caring about something about Johnny. The only thing you should know about Johnny is the fact he's sort of a reactor and the person who wants things or wants action. And that's basically it because he's a kid. He has nothing else to actually worry about. He just wants to have fun. And that's completely fine. But the only problem is, and that I think that's one of the biggest weaknesses of Johnny, is sort of hard to actually give him some deepness if he doesn't have to. Even that is sort of interesting is all the scenarios they put him in to basically to relate to kids because at the very end he doesn't have a personality, but that's enough to actually insert themselves into Johnny. What if I am Johnny's position? Well, I would abuse it. Like, if I want to play baseball but I suck at it, of course I would use science to cheat or improve my game. Or I fail a test, of course I would use sort of a scientific way to reverse time and retake the test and pass it. Or cheat a very unique way using Johnny's sisters to pass the test. Once more, it's like, what if And I think this is the reason why Johnny was successful. One of the dozen reasons. But it is also the biggest issue because after first two or maybe three seasons, they kind of ran out of the ideas of that. That's the second problem. Now, the second problem why Johnny kind of fails is because of the internet. Because everything now is 10 times faster than usual. Anything they reference or trying to emulate or trying to do anything else will be completely outdated on the show. Because animation takes time. Even cheap animation still takes time because they need to promote it 3 months or 4 months before the release date. So you write a show like you finish like 3 or 4 months, and it could take at least a half a year to come out. So basically, you're talking about 9 to a year to show a new season. During that time, the idea you got inspired online could be completely outdated or become sort of cringe. And that's sort of one of the major problems with Johnny. Their ideas, if it's more like what mother kids like right now and having fun with the idea. And that's one of the biggest issues. Just to remind you, the original series was sort of put in the early 2000s that the internet wasn't that popular. It was there, but it wasn't like levels of popularity like right now, like YouTube. That's why they can actually create an idea, take their time, and that same idea still be relevant in this day. It doesn't really get outdated. That's what I meant that the original have that one successful moment because of that. The second, or not second, you said third biggest issue to Johnny Test is the fact he's sort of kind of selfish. It's sort of hard to redeem Johnny, not all the time, but you can feel there he's just sort of a narcissist who believes he is the best or something like that, the one who solves all the problems because very end he is the main lead character. That it makes sense to make him kind of self-centered or doesn't care about the situation. But I think there's a reason why people are trying to relate or understand to Johnny because it's sort of kind of hard to relate to someone like that. And in fact, there's a reason why they allow him to react to things or introduce things to inside the project or episode. And on top of all this, at the end of the series, they stop introducing ideas, more like, all right, let's go with it. And that's sort of the mentality of Johnny. They kind of get rid of that sort of charm to Johnny, that sort of, oh, that's fun. I want to do that. I want to do that. Instead, him wanting things is reverse. Things just happen. He just go with it. And I think it's sort of the key part of the failure of Johnny. On top of all this, the new seasons or new projects of the 20 and 21 projects of Johnny stop actually building up scenarios. And I mean scenarios. I mean sort of explaining or adding or showing, re-showing new characters, new cast in new scenarios, and that is sort of hard to actually get into. It's almost like a flaw understanding story beats. This is one of the major reasons why it kind of failed on the new IP, especially the Netflix one, that people feel kind of empty. Even old fans rewatched the series that didn't feel anything to endear them to keep watching. They probably watch it because they're fans, but how I understand that one of the few complaints is the fact it doesn't feel passionate of the funness. And I think that's one of the biggest problems because it all relies you to remind you of the beginning seasons. That's why the continual of the original series kind of failed because it did not reintroduce or show you the things Johnny wanted. And that's one of the biggest flaws of the Netflix version of this. Also, the webtoon, not the webtoon, the web series of Johnny fails as equally is that It never explains anything. It just sort of, or you don't, if you're a fan. But even that, fans are not loving it because it just feels kind of empty, just going with the flow. And that's the problem. They're just not caring about the product, just sort of assuming you understand, and we don't need to explain anything. And that's sort of the issue. Now, I find that kind of fascinating because it's sort of hard to do that. And that's sort of basic one on one writing characters, introducing characters, and introducing the idea of the show. And I just find kind of dumbfounded they went that complete direction. Now, the fourth, I think it's the fourth or fifth thing, is basically they kind of misunderstood the popularity of Johnny. That Johnny was really hated. It was very divisive. People feel the show was lazy, and that's the reason why they hate it. They did not like Johnny or none of the characters. This was so divisive because they think, oh, this is a thing. This is people enjoying. This become pop culture. And this is, I think, the reason why they actually made three projects because they think they have the next Scooby Doo. But the only problem is they sort of miss or understand or mishandle the projects. They just felt they need to pump out right now because you see all the episodes on YouTube, all 7 seasons. I think it was 7 seasons that all of them hits a million, 3 million views. Every time they drop it, they thought, oh, this is a hit. This is amazing. Yes, but at the same time, they forgot one major thing. Johnny is hated. And the fans or the country community will never let you forget, in other words, because how much hatred and force given to you to show this. Because I have to remind you, doing back in the early 2000s, the internet wasn't a thing. It was there, but the only thing we have is Cartoon Network, Disney, and Nickelodeon. We did not have that much options. Whatever is on television, that's the thing you watch. If you don't like it, change to a different channel. But this is the issue. During that time period, cartoons were sort of scat. It's like that's the show you gotta watch. You have to love it or not, go outside and play. And that's the issue because Cartoon Network forced you to love it, forced you to enjoy it. And the top of this, it was popular, but not everybody liked it. It was just sort of tiring to watch this over and over. And that hatred stayed with the fandom for a long time because how much force you give us to actually watch it. Even when you attempt to change the channel and change it back, the show was still there. And this is the frustration and anger lingers in the country community. This is why they despise Johnny. And something Wild Brain never really realized, 100% sure they thought, well, every show has their own haters, it doesn't matter, but never realized how much they hate that. And I think it's one of the biggest issues they glaze over because they not realize that could be a major problem. And it was. Because they reintroduced the web series, they did not expect the backlash. Not just the people who hated, it's the fact the fans were a little bit disappointed. Even that, some fans were accepting, okay, it's not perfect, we liked it, but yet this was demolished when the web series put it in YouTube. This is before they removed comment. It was sort of open. Everybody could say whatever they wanted and was horrific. All the words, all the hatred of this show. And they got so scared off, they actually removed, not scared of, bullied. It was insane. It was like, whoa. Even that, I kind of wanted to review the first episode of the web series, but everybody jumped on it, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to add up the hate. I'm not going that direction. Yeah, I never went. I never went that direction. I have tried it once and twice, but I didn't like it. But besides that, to give the idea how much hatred they have. But at the same time, they sort of deserve because the Rip series wasn't good. There were videos explain why. Because the first episode of the Rip series was another evil Johnny, but it never explained why he was evil. He just, yeah, he was evil because he have a different color type of his own character compared to the good Johnny, and that's not even the explanation. That's sort of what you assume. That's what sort of the confusing part. Everything was sort of bad. That's why they removed everything. That just make you understand the mishandling of Johnny and the hatred. They misunderstood it or ignored that. They thought they get away with it when I actually realized this can actually impact it, and it did. Now the fifth thing, I think it's the fifth. I lost count, but besides it, the fifth thing is sort of the writing. But one of the biggest issues of Johnny has to be the Disney writing. Understand, Warner Brothers and Warner Brain own the rights of Johnny Test, but I mean Disney writing is the fact they have sort of phrases or sort of cliche things put in the show to make the characters wacky and relatable, like two characters wearing the same dress, or the noodle incident. If you don't know, it's all about the reaction of the characters to scenarios, but you have to understand those scenarios is the reaction of the characters. You understand why they react. You understand it's so unusual that character react. Like a serious character being being kind of like forgetful, but always perfect. Why he's forgetful, and that's the hilarious or interesting part of the reaction or the thing they showing, and that's the thing make them interesting and fun to relate. That you don't realize they actually can do that because you know the character. That's why the cliche of wearing the same dress or the noodle incident is so popular, the reaction of the characters. But the only problem is, none of the characters are so well developed or anything. They're sort of, you could say, stereotypes or cliche type of characters that it doesn't really add anything. They act the same. It doesn't give you layers. And this is the frustrating thing watching Johnny, any type of IP, because it feels lazy. It feels like Disney writing, because Disney does the same thing as Johnny. This is one of the complaints of Disney shows. The writing just feels so lazy. They never figure out a clever way to develop or point out things about the characters. And this is one of the biggest issues of Johnny. They never fixed it or tried to one up it. You could see the original series handled it a little better, but all of that, they became more lazy over time because whatever you did has been done. You can't really go one up anymore while changing the status or developing the characters. Now, the final thing makes a Johnny fail completely is sort of the timing. You have to understand Johnny Test was the right place and the right moment. Any other different time, or more early like right now, would be clown mean the death or just straight out hated how bad the series really is. Because let's face it, Johnny is not perfect. I can see you having your own fans. The reason why people like it because it's just fun. And that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. I keep saying there's nothing wrong in having cliches or anything. But it doesn't have anything worth actually staying because nowadays you have other options, other different ways having that type of character, and YouTube specifically because specifically YouTube have a bunch of shows like that, cheaper but well produced by fans who understand that type of character. Yeah, I don't mean kind of ripping off Johnny Test. It's just do the same formula different ways. You can find them. In fact, not just YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, Amazon. Each show has that sort of kind of fun cartoon show. Ain't never that popular, but it kind of scratched the need. But all of that, it doesn't really does nothing different enough to distinguish yourself. And this is the biggest sin of Johnny Test. It was sort of a thing only in the right place, and that's it. I mean, I'm not trying to bashed it. I'm not trying to be mean spirited. It is the truth. This is the problem of Johnny Test. The only way to succeed it is sort of re-evolve it and redevelop it and try and still have that fun, but develop the characters even more, having more the story connection. Like now, every cartoon you watch on Netflix, Hulu, Disney, everything has a grand story. And I feel Johnny could be more successful and then link to the grand story, a bigger story arc for Johnny, something he developed becoming more mature. And that could actually work and fix the problem of Johnny. Or you still prefer the same Johnny, the only problem is you have it. You have 7 seasons. Also, 2 more seasons on Netflix doing the same thing, showing you whoever picks it up doesn't have interest or care to actually doing nothing unique, just repeating the same thing while improving the story. And that's the issue. That Johnny needs to be more modern, needs to have a story arc, a development, more deeper characters, smarter writing, just to keep up the modern day cartoons. And this is sort of my opinion. Of course, tell me down below. I miss anything wrong? Do you think I was too harsh on it, or you believe fair enough? Tell me down below. Let me know. Tell me your opinion of this sort of analysis of Johnny, the reason why it failed. I got nothing else to say. Just thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.